Okay, so now we're almost there. So we're ready now with permuting the last layer, step two, and that's getting the edges oriented, uh, uh, positioned into the right places. Instead of orienting, it should actually be permuting the edges because we're moving them around. So what's going to happen here is you're either going to have everything solved, great, or you're going to have one edge in the right place or no edge in the right place. It's actually impossible to have two edges in the wrong place on a 3x3 cube. So the algorithms we use introduce a new letter. Uh, um, I've looked at various different algorithms for dealing with the top or solving the edges, and I think this is probably the simplest one. It involves the least amount of steps, uh, but it also does involve moving the middle layer of the cube. See, M is that middle column layer, as I'll show you in a picture in a moment, and it turns like the left side of the cube does. So M prime would actually be bringing that layer up, as you're going to see in a minute, and M would be bringing it down, just like the left L and L prime movements are. So there's two different ones, but don't really think about this too much in terms of with the turns here, in terms of which one to turn. Because I think if you follow the picture, follow the process that I'm going to show you, it'll be a little easier to remember it, and you don't have to think in terms of two different algorithms, which are mostly the same with just a few little things changed as far as the U-turns. You can see it's U, U2, U, U prime, U2, U prime. The rest of it's all the same. Okay, but I don't like to think of this in terms of symbols. I think of it in terms of pictures. And so basically the idea, let me show you the pictures first, and then we'll get onto our cube. So here's the red, yellow edge, which needs to go over here in the red. So the opening move is to do F2, which is going to bring a white line up. Now keep in mind, this red needs to go to the right. So the first move is F2, brings a white line up. The next move here would be U prime, but just think of it in terms this way. I needed that to go to the right, the red down there to go to the right, so I rotate so the white line goes to the right. Okay. We then perform our algorithm, the M prime move, okay, which again, just like the L, is actually going to move that layer here with the yellow-red piece back up to the top now. So that's my M prime move. We're moving it up to the top. Okay, we then perform a double rotation on the top. Okay, that actually turns that thing around, so he's now backwards. Okay, we then rotate that middle layer back. That's the M move. And then we rotate the white line. We needed it to line back up, so we needed to move back to the front. All right, so we do that. What that actually does is takes that yellow-red piece and actually inserts it where it needs to go. And then finally we do an F2 to bring things back. And in this picture, the cube's completely solved. So let's look at our cube. Let's take a look at our cube here. So here, as I look at this cube, right, I see I have this is not solved. I'm going to turn it around. Blue is not solved. Red's not solved, and green's not solved. So none of them are in the right place. So I need one of these to go where it belongs. I need something to go where it belongs. Unfortunately, with four of them unsolved, right, that doesn't need to go to there. It actually needs to go all the way around. Right, this blue doesn't need to go to red. Right, it needs to actually come over here. Well, what actually happens when you do this left or right? If you do it left, it's actually going to do these pieces clockwise, or sorry, to the right. It's actually going to make them move counterclockwise. If you do the left version of it, it's actually going to take these three pieces. Can't see them very well here, but we have the blue, the orange, and the green face. It'll actually move them in a clockwise manner if you do the left version. So when nothing's solved, when you don't have one solved, just perform the algorithm, either one of them. will work. So I'm just going to do the right side. One. So I'm going to do my F2, right? Getting my white stripe up here. Okay. And then I want it to go to the right, so I'll do U prime. Right, brings it over here on the left side. Then I'm going to do my bring the bottom up, so bring that edge up. So rotate just the middle slice. So what I usually do is just rotate them both, and then rotate the top. Okay. All right, so there's my M move, M prime move, and then I do my U2, and then I undo my M move. Okay. And then I need to get my white stripe back across the top, so I do my U prime move again, and then I do my F2. And that will, when you have 4 of them out of place, doing either the left or right will give you at least one solved piece. Now, that piece isn't solved, that piece isn't solved, and that piece isn't solved. But if you look over here, the blue is. So if you start with 4, all 4 unsolved, just do either left or right, whichever one you want. Okay. Then what we do, once we have one solved, we face that on the back. And I look at my cube here. In this case, I need my orange to go over to the right. So I'm actually going to perform the right version of it. If I wanted it to go to the left, if I needed it to go to the left, I'd perform the left version. But again, the left and right here, don't think really in terms of that. Just think in terms of what's going to be happening with that stripe, which way you want it to go. So we begin with our algorithm again. It's F2. That gets it in the bottom for a moment. And then we needed it to go to the right. So I'm going to turn so the white stripe goes to the right. So that would be actually U prime. All right, then we perform our middle slice, which again, it moves like the left side. So M prime would be moving it up, the middle slice up. We then do our 2U. Okay. Then we bring our middle slice back down. So we do that M move. Right? And then we bring the white line back to the front where it started. All right, now it's lined up. And then we just invert the front. And now we have solved our cube. Now we have solved our cube. Okay. So I'm going to show you again on the other cube just to kind of show you the difference here. One more time. So here in this one, I actually have the red that needs to go to the left. You can see green also needs to go to the left, and that other one, the orange one, will actually cycle back over. And the back's already solved, blue's there as well. So again, first step, I recognize that the red needs to go to the left. So I rotate F2, gets me my white stripe up there. This time it needs to go to the left, so I turn the top to put it on the left side. We then do our M prime move, which is slicing that middle up. So again, I usually bring it up, both of them up, and then readjust. So there's my middle slice up. All right. We then do our U2 move. And we do our middle slice back down. All right. That's now inserted the yellow-red piece where it needs to go. And then bring the white stripe back to the front. And do our F2 move. And now we have completely, as you can see, solved our cube as well. So that's the process. I will tell you that as you're doing this, you're going to make many mistakes. I know I did. You're going to find out that you're going to do something that's going to interrupt what you've already done with the cube, and you'll have to restart. Try not to be frustrated. Think of it as an opportunity to practice those earlier steps again. All right, good luck.